Hey everyone, it's Justine, health and wellness transformation coach, nutritionist, intuitive Reiki practitioner, and author of the book Lose Your Inches Without Losing Your Mind. And you can read more about me at my website, which is happyhealthypeople.com. So I thought I'd make today's video about what is your higher self. I'm very honored that all of my videos will now be featured on the Higher Self channel. So I thought it would be helpful for my current subscribers and viewers to just explain what this concept is a little bit more, how you can get more tapped in, and how it can really help you in your overall life. And this is just my version of an explanation. You could Google about it. There's, all sorts of information, but this is just what I've come to understand in my own journey. So what our higher self is basically the best version of ourself. It is the I am self. It is the version of us that hasn't been tainted by life experiences, by patterns, by fears, anxieties, worries, all of that stuff. It's like the version of ourselves that's as close to source and spirit and all that is, and the universe as possible. And I like to view it as the our all-knowing self. Like our higher self always knows, has our best interest in mind. It knows how to direct us on our path, and it's really like a guide, right? And I didn't really know what this was when my spiritual awakening started in 2006. I was starting to get intuitive messages, and I just thought I've always had like gut feelings, and I would just like know things, but I just started to get more tapped in. And some of the messages, like one day I was like, well, who or what, like where are these messages coming from? And the answer, and I had written it down, is this is your higher self. And I was like, what is that? Like that, I didn't even know what that meant. But now I understand that, oh, it's a thing. So it's basically your all-knowing self. There's no ego, there's no ulterior motive, there's no like mind trying to figure everything out and making everything really complicated. It's just like the best version of us, right? And I feel what's happening now, especially with everyone being like more aware, more awake, more connected, is that we're actually almost like merging with our higher self. Like as we look at our life and we're starting to undo patterns that we've been repeating, or undo thought patterns, or just things we've done in our life, or how we would react to things, as we like continue to be aware and to change that, we're actually becoming the best versions of ourselves. So a few ways that you can start to connect with your highest and best self more and more. There's several, and you really just have to find what works for you. The main thing is just to be able to get quiet and just be still and not have tons of distractions, like songs going and millions, like computers and phones. Like you really have to make some time to just be. Okay, just be quiet and just be. So meditation is very, very helpful. If a sitting meditation is too much for you, you can start with like 5 minutes. There's guided meditations. But also you can even do like a walking meditation. For example, if you walk in nature, that's a version of a meditation. And that's one of my favorite things. I get my most inspired ideas when I'm walking in nature with my dog, like by the ocean. Like suddenly just ideas or inspiration hits me, or understanding of things. Like they just like come in just sort of out of the blue. So that could be maybe something for you that you can try. Some people really like to journal. And to kind of connect in, you could do something. It's called stream of consciousness writing, also called automatic writing. But basically, you ask yourself a question, and then you write without filtering. So at first, you might be thinking about what you're writing, but then you just like really let it flow, and then it like gets out of like the mind stuff, and it's really just like flowing through your hand, like whether you're typing or writing. Writing is probably the best, but I can do it with typing as well. So everyone's different, but the main thing is just to like figure out a way to be quiet and connect with yourself, whatever works for you. And then you can start to ask yourself questions, and again, really tune into your guidance. So let's say you're trying to make a decision on something. So ask yourself a question. The very first answer that pops into your brain, that's the right answer. And everything after that is BS, right? That's the ego getting in there. So it's like, I mean, even just the other day, I couldn't decide. I was thinking of going to this sound bath and I wasn't sure. I was like, okay, God, like if I'm supposed to go, just make it really obvious. And all day I was like, should I go? And I'd ask myself the question. And it was like, it wasn't decided yet. So it was like the sun had come down and like suddenly out of the blue, it hit me like, yes, go to the sound bath. And I did, and I met a new client there. So, and I had no intention of going. It was cool because there was like this breathwork stuff going on. But anyway, so sometimes you have to wait a little bit to get the answer. But just like being open to that way of receiving information to guide you is really helpful. Now, what may happen is as you become more and more aware of, you're going to start to change your perspectives on things. You're going to just be more aware of things. As you get more in tune with your higher self and your like all-knowing self, and you're really starting to merge, like don't be surprised if people start to say, oh, you're different, or you're like a different person, because you are. I mean, it's not like you're a different person. It's like the person you've always been underneath all the stuff, like underneath all the, not the muck, but like just underneath everything. You were born that way. Like we were born like pure and just this beautiful being before life, right? And now here I am, 40. And you start to just really get back to knowing who you really are. So don't be surprised if people start to notice that you're different, comment that you're different. I know that I'm a totally different person than I was even just a few months ago. When I went to Bali, it was very obvious to everyone there that it's somewhere in the middle of the retreat, like I became a different version of myself. Like I actually changed. And it's always been this version of me under there. But before I used to have like fears and anxieties, and I would like question stuff, or I wouldn't feel good enough with stuff. And I would just, I don't know. I just like the real me kind of got lost in there, and now it's out, obviously, because now I'm making videos. But anyway, and also don't be surprised if people in your world, they might shift or change. And, the people that are still in your world, they'll probably, it's really important that you shine your light and you be your authentic self, and you speak what's important to you, and just be yourself, because it actually gives other people permission to be themselves and to maybe talk about things they haven't talked about before, or try things they haven't talked about before, or just it kind of gives other people permission to be their authentic selves as well. So you're actually going to help lift up people and raise people and on their journey the more that you do your thing. And another way to sort of tune into your essence, your higher self, is really to be aware of your emotions. So if you're feeling sad, don't identify you with that sad feeling. Get under the feeling. Like, okay, I'm feeling this way. Why am I feeling this way? What's the underneath part? If you're feeling angry, if you're feeling anxious, it's like, why? Okay, so those emotions, like, they're not you. They're just kind of like, I don't know, like maybe like a compass, like something that's directing you to that there's something that needs to be addressed, and sort of like to dig into that so that you can clear the emotion. You can get under it and it can just, be released out of you. That's what I do a lot with the Reiki. I love doing Reiki with people in person and remotely, because it really helps to release, sort of like stuck energy and emotions, like whatever's been stuck in there, it just like comes out and it's released, and it really helps people to be different and helps them to be the best version of themselves. So overall, our natural state of being is to be joyous, happy, excited, energetic, love, be connected to people, not separate, getting out of that separation consciousness, more, it's unity consciousness, right? Being like happy and blissful and joyous, that is our natural state of being. That's the way that we should be that way. Okay, we shouldn't have all these other things, going on in our minds. So just as you become more aware and awake, again, give yourself permission to be this blissful, joyous self. And if stuff comes up, if emotions comes up, then address it. Or if the situation comes up, address it, but always look at everything from a higher perspective. Because the more that you tune into you and who you really are, you're going to keep becoming the best version of yourself, and you're going to keep uplifting others and encouraging them to be the best versions of themselves as well. So I hope you like this video, and keep tuning into yourself, and I will see you in the next video.